Welcome to Book Bites, brought to you by Spines, where today we're biting into things to know, have, and do as you graduate from high school, written by Rosemary Jenkins. Rosemary has a master's in counseling and school psychology. She's a certified rehabilitation counselor, and she spent her career helping people get back on their feet. Then she looked back at her own life and thought, there are a ton of things I wish someone had told me before I made my way out into the big wide world. So she wrote them down. And the result is a short, practical book for anyone standing at the edge of adulthood. Money, housing, health, credit, how to talk to a landlord, why you need to vote. Honestly, I think we might all need a refresher, right? Rosemary, welcome. And first things first, what's your brain fuel of choice when writing? Is it coffee, tea, maybe wine or whiskey?
As far as writing, just a window and water, as long as I can see nature.
That's good. The healthy choice. Do you find yourself going
Yeah.
for walks in between sections as well to refresh your memory and stir creativity?
No, as long as I can see a tree or see the outside, I'm good. Of course, I do take walks for just my health anyway. I do that. But many times since I don't know what the environment is going to be like, whether or not I will be able to go out or not, but as long as I can see nature, and I do want to at least, I believe in getting some vitamin D at some point. So I
Hmm.
do go outside, but mostly just being able to have a window and some water.
Very good. The healthy choice, like I said. In your preface, you said that you wished you knew these things to have a smoother transition into adulthood. What's the one thing you wish someone had told you the most?
Well, it came out to be a whole lot of the things that had, in terms of known the most. It's just that if I had known some of the things that had written down and planned in terms of as I was moving from what I call girlhood into womanhood, then
Hmm.
I would not have stumbled or stayed stuck or made the mistakes that I had. And again, I believe, of course, we all make mistakes, but I don't believe
Hmm.
that you have to stay in them as long as I did
Hmm.
in moving on with life. But in terms of the book itself, mistakes, it's what I didn't have, what I didn't do, and what I didn't know. So it was just a pulliver of just a lot of things that I uh, had made in terms of mistakes. So as I discuss and talk about the book itself, it would highlight some of them, but it just was so many things. I wouldn't say that I'm embarrassed to just probably highlight to just say one that it no. For me, it was several things.
Hmm. And, they say that it's best to learn from your mistakes, or you learn the best from the mistakes you make. But you argue against that. You say some mistakes are better not to learn from because it's better not to make them. And what are those mistakes that you're alluding to, and why is it so important to you for people not to make these mistakes?
Well, again, you don't want when you're making certain mistakes and you don't have a roadmap or a plan of action, then you're stuck there. You're not moving along in life. You're becoming a little frustrated, and just so much of what life itself is a journey. And so we
Hmm.
journey meaning that you're moving. It doesn't have to be big, long strides or steps, but you're moving towards something. And so when you just right, just not being able to move, you just right there stuck and you become frustrated and it affects you emotionally, spiritually, your health and all that. And that's not a productive person or productive citizen for yourself as
Hmm.
well as others.
Why do you think that the things that you talk about in this book are not taught for young people?
Off the time I always hear that, why it is not. I don't know. It's not in the way I've laid it out here in the curriculums in terms of schools or not.
Hmm.
And I especially learned that I retired and I went back into the school system right now doing a lot of substitute teaching, primarily with high school students. And I had really written this book before, but I had to come back and repackage it and say, well, I'm going to have to dive in this to be more to present this out in terms of
Mm.
what some of the students, because I see when I'm speaking and talking to some of them, and I see in some of the behaviors from whether it be social media, whether it be just regular television, or those that I meet out from the church and other activities, volunteer activities I do. I'm saying I need to get back out here because we need to focus a little bit more and see what I can do on my end as to put this into a broad spectrum of to be able to touch the lives of millions, if possible, many
Mm.
people as I can in this setting. So writing this book is the one way that I was able to do that.
Hmm. Do you remember who the first person was to read the book?
Um, the first person, yes, to read this book, I had it. Of course, I had a couple of folks too did, but I had one of my girlfriends who has teenagers, well, at least grandkids at the time, and I just had her to have her son and grandson and granddaughter to read the book. They were from one from her son and one from her daughter, and they are the ones that were the first one to have read that. Once I finished it up, I asked them to read it, and it was like, oh wow. And even for not just to say that for the kids, the adults said, after it was the kids read it, well, then my girlfriend did read it herself and said, well, these are the things for me I can do as an adult as well to
Yeah,
be able to do. It's not just for the high schoolers to know.
for sure.
So, especially when it comes to say no, know that others are not responsible for making you happy. Uh,
Mm.
you have to really learn and know that uh, people can only enhance your life, but they cannot define who you are. And so it is important for you to know some of the things, know how to manage your money.
Right.
Those are important things to know. Know how to do some domestic skills, which means such
Mm.
as your uh, cooking, cleaning, ironing, washing. And with the young people, especially, you're going to take about four different thrusts in life soon after you leave high school. So mom and dad is not always going to be around for you.
Right.
So you need to
Yeah.
learn how to know to do some of those things. Things that you probably have you need to have someone that to talk to on a consistent basis, um, to
Absolutely.
express your joys, your sorrows, and your opinions. You need to have a place where you can go to interact with those who can also help you to develop. You need to have especially a sense of humor, be able to laugh at yourself and others, have a sense of spirituality where you'll be able to find comfort and believe in something that's higher than yourself. You definitely need to have a means of transportation, how to be able to get about. First starting out, whether it be a girlfriend or boyfriend, public transportation. This
Hmm.
today and age, a lot of Ubers, taxis, and etc. But at least just have that plan out to know it. Those are some of the things that we're covering in the book, and also highlighting on things to do. You need to make certain that you establish your own line of credit, how to open get your own banking account,
Hmm.
know to know how to treat others. Be kind to folks as much as you can. Respect them. Do, as I said, register to vote in terms of is a civic thing or civic duty. I believe do maintain things like your high school, your hygiene. Make certain that you always have your identifications on you at all times. Know what I'm going back and forth to live with how to know, have, and do on some of these things. But
Hmm.
as far as your health, Make certain that you know how to continue to keep up with your own health as to when you're to take medications, make your own doctor visits, and etc. It's just a paliver, just a whole lot of things that we need to, I can continue on with, to know, to have, and to
Yeah.
do. Ask
Yeah.
those things earlier.
Important.
I'm just pointing them out now.
Yeah. No, I mean you're talking about important things for everyone at every stage of life, really. You know, obviously adults hopefully will have these skills moving forward, but you know, at any stage, if you don't have these skills or you want a refresher, it's a vital thing to be able to know and you know get a little refresher when reading this book. Did you have a favorite section when you were writing this book, or afterwards, looking back? Is there a particular section that you think really resonates with you more than another?
Well, in terms of since I just love the whole thing. It's always things that say everything is not always equal, but
Mm-hmm.
I really like the fact of to do, because we all need do reminds me so much of plan of action, putting things, whatever you decide to do, that you plan to do something. Example, I was noted some of the to dos, but let me give you a few more. Do
Mm-hmm.
consider learning of being trained for more than one skill or trade. This is a time we all often hear, well, we need several different skills and trades because things change so much. So you're going to have to either upgrade here or become certified here. You started out here at this particular time, 10 years from now, it may be completely different. And we are seeing that right now with the changes
Right.
of AI and other things that are entered. So you have to do that. Also, do, as I said, about the banking, especially financial literacy, learn more. What I really, could have had some more help with and doing financial literacy in terms of how to make certain that I have enough funding to do the things that I need to do in life, and that's
Mm-hmm.
to take care of it. If on the, especially you got to have food, water, clothing, and all that. So all of that makes a difference in terms of knowing what to do, and also I'm at a point in a time that I would say do make certain that you also show some respect to our seniors these days. We don't hear that much a lot. I find that myself a lot many times talking to others and don't know it myself, and they say come back later say you said this and I remembered this and I could do this. So a lot of us seniors have a lot of things that we could share that really would make a difference in others' lives,
Mm-hmm.
for the good or for the better. And also, in terms, as I said, do is a plan of action section. For me, we need to, I may have said it, I don't know, do need to maintain good hygiene. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, sometimes uh, we just need to learn to know how to maintain good hygiene for ourselves.
Yeah.
And as I said,
Nothing
you
worse
want to
than
also.
a stinky person trying to deal with them.
Yeah, and this is a point where we're learning, we're growing, that you don't take the same shirt, even though you got all these activities, and wear it just days and days, and and
Mm-hmm.
and I see it with a lot of them. They have all these bags and they have like these little perfumes and sprays. But after a period of time, that's not going to continue to be able to help you.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, do greet others with a smile, a handshake, a hug, high five, however it may be for when it's appropriate for you. It really makes a difference a lot to others when you greet them appropriate like that. And I mentioned, and I can't say it enough, do treat others as the way you want them to treat you, or show grace to others.
Mm.
That was just some of the things in the do section that I really did like.
I mean, these are such powerful and universal ideas that are so important for a well functioning society. I mean, you're talking about these things, you know, being kind to one another and treating people with respect. And wouldn't it be great if everyone actually did these things? It'd be so wonderful. Everyone go read this book and act these ways. It'd be great.
Yeah, and I want to also say you mentioned about that this was it's one of my favorite areas to do, but to accomplish with that in the book, I have left some intentional black blank pages where for some things that if I did not say if you're speaking to me and you might and I might come up with something else, well, I can able to jot them down right then to add to it or subtract because these are things that I've recommended. However, they're not absolute, which makes sense. Since we're
Hmm.
each all different, we come up with something that may, we say, well, that may ring a bell to me, or I may say, it's a thought for me. So write it down,
Right,
uh, which is allowed within the book to make this an interactive piece for you.
right. Most people say they want to write a book, but they never finish one. You managed. What's your writing superpower?
Again, I just want to be able to do something to help others. I see something out there, there is a need for this, and the fact that I wanted to do by putting forth the action of doing what I'm thinking and what I want to share. This is what I have. I'm okay. At some point, we all going to probably leave this. Not probably, we'll be leaving the earth
Hmm.
and going beyond. And this is a legacy for me. To know that I have put forth this book in terms of, again, the things we ought to know, we ought to have, and we ought to do, even though we're saying as we graduate from high school, but it is definitely an ongoing journey.
Amazing. Beautiful. I suppose that leaves us with the question of what's next for you.
Well, the question in terms of what next for me is that I'm going to focus a little bit more on this book. Now, I had been in the school system and through with the advanced testing and et cetera. So, especially right now, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the book in terms of being able to go out more and to I guess it'd be more, I wouldn't say necessarily marketed, but I do want to share with different groups about this particular plan, the book, and in all genres. I can see it in so many places that I could
Hmm.
share this with. But I'm going to present myself personally to be more involved and making certain that this message is received to as many people as I can.
Amazing. Rosemary Jenkins, thanks for joining us on Book Bites from Spines. You can find Things to Know, Have, and Do as you graduate from high school on Amazon. I've been your host, Omri Rose, and if you want to hear extended interviews, some guests join us on Book Bites Deep Dive. Until next time, follow Book Bites, leave a review, and happy reading. Thanks, Rosemary.
Thank you.